Welcome to the MineSanity podcast. What's up, guys? My name's Eric, aka Azrael Eternity, and welcome to the MineSanity podcast. With us today, regular cast and crew, I am Azrael. We have Bravewalker.
Heyo.
Banjo Bates.
Heyo.
Stevie.
Hello.
And special guest, Sig Core, also known as Chris.
Hey, guys.
So, Sig is obviously the newest player to the server. You've been on for 2 weeks now?
Yeah, 2-3 weeks, yeah.
2 or 3 weeks. And I have to say, I was just out at your house a little bit ago, and like a couple days ago, and I am amazed at how much you have gotten done in that little time.
Mm-hmm.
I was burning
actually,
the candle at both ends last week, so...
Actually, I was over there earlier today, maybe it was yesterday. That's right. And it really amazes me how two similar ideas of tree houses, mine and Sig's, can go two different directions like that. So different.
Yeah,
They're made of the same kind of blocks.
Yours is definitely, like you'd said last week, more organic.
Yeah.
Whereas mine, I want you actually go, yes, there's a building there, but it looks like the forest has kind of enveloped it a little bit, is the look I'm going for. So
Almost like you had a house in the middle of a jungle and trees started coming up under it.
exactly.
It kind of
Which would
started
actually be
becoming
really
overgrown.
cool.
The trees are trying to retake their land.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least that's what I'm shooting for, if I can find enough freaking leaves without stripping the forest bare.
I have offered. I have a lot of open land. I just don't have that many jungle saplings to be able to do it.
Oh, I know, and it's sometimes you can tear down one of those trees and not get any.
Yeah.
So,
And it's crazy. And it's hard to balance doing, okay, I need more saplings so that I can continue planting these trees, and I need these leaves so that I can decorate my building.
yeah, it's...
Well, my strategy is once you start running out of saplings, stop shearing the leaves.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just let it go.
I see that Banjo loves the cats at his place.
He's the crazy cat lady.
I think that got mentioned, that Banjo's now the crazy cat lady of the server.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that because creeper bombings are not cool.
I have never had any success with cats defending from creepers, and they always just end up randomly teleporting to me while I'm like in the middle of a lava lake,
They
and
fixed
then
all
they just
those.
fall off.
For cats not deterring creepers. Let's
God.
just say my front door again.
I remember this.
You know what?
I remember
They
Luna.
have fixed so much of those bugs where cats would teleport and all that stuff. I don't even think they teleport anymore unless they're actually standing up, which is a huge improvement.
As for block creepers, though, and
Yeah, they
I
protect
have-
against creepers too.
I have essentially just sworn off of pets. I think they're a waste of effort. Unless you can, like, put them into something and then just have them stay there. You know,
Like
like
an
you can build
auto-
a doghouse.
Yeah.
Even
Can I
that
just have
doesn't work.
goldfish?
Yeah, I'd like a goldfish. I never got around to building my micro block house with my goldfish in the FTB server.
Well, now you have a new FTB server to do that on.
Except
Yeah.
I'm not whitelisted
Yeah.
yet. Oh.
Yeah, you are.
Oh, I am?
You should be, yeah.
Oh, okay. I haven't.
I've spent way too much time on there.
I know. That's the other thing is, like, I'm trying to get a bunch of stuff done on vanilla. Like, I just started building the pyramid for the new Iron Arena, and it's like, I'm trying to get all this stuff done. I don't need a new time sync.
Speaking of, you haven't posted any videos on your Eternity Island that I've seen in forever.
What do you mean? I just posted one, like, the other day.
Really?
Yeah.
It's not been showing up then.
You're just not watching my feed.
YouTube's just broken again.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the last video you uploaded to me was Super Craft Bros, episode 10.
Really? I saw the one where you guys were derping around on the...
Well, that was the
whatever.
network. That was
yeah.
the network.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, but as uploaded it, so...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
he is-
that's true. Excuse me, Banjo. I had 4 days ago was my last MineSanity episode. One is
Oh,
scheduled
God.
for tonight.
Oh, okay.
In any
Got it.
case.
I was just confused because I've seen all this stuff popping up at your place, and then I no see it.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I-
I only have 1 day a week typically to do any sort of recording, so I have to do
Yeah.
a lot. I can do a lot of little projects in between and be able to build those up and be like, hey, this is what we've done so far. This is what we're working on today.
Yeah.
Which is essentially what my episode today is. Is like, hey, this is what, or the one that's going to be uploaded tonight on Tuesday, is hey, this is what I've been doing. This is what I've got. Ta-da!
yeah, well, I'm just afraid to show something off that you haven't shown yet, and you want to show.
Yeah, that
In
is
your
true.
video?
That is a problem. Especially, it's going to be probably difficult when Seg starts building the arena at Eternity Island. Is one of us not showing off something that the others built?
Well, you can
Yeah.
always just put like a giant curtain in between the two.
The arena is going to take a long time. So, and that one will be. I've been doing some work on the arena. Here's where I'm at. Until we get down to the redstone portion of it, probably, because a lot of it's going to be me building a maze.
Yeah.
So that
You know, it'd be
That's
really
a
cool.
lot of real estate too, because you said something like 70 by 70.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm probably have to go out into the ocean a little bit.
that's fine.
So,
Well, anyway,
yeah.
we should probably move on to the actual topics because
Yeah,
we are
so-
full on today.
Yeah, we're full of chatty. Okay, so we got general MineSanity news out of the way. Saints Row 4 is slated for August 20th launch of this year, and I think that's going to be awesome. I never got a chance to play Saints Row 3, but I've watched a lot of people's playthroughs of it, and it just looked like the most amazing game.
So much fun.
So that's probably going to be a game that I'm going to pick up at launch.
I have never played any Saints Row games.
What?
Neither have I.
I haven't, but I've watched, like I said, I've watched quite a few videos about it.
I played
people's
around with, I
playthroughs.
think, like the first or second one. I never really got into it. I'm wishing I would have been able to mess around with the third one because it seems as if it was going to be a lot better. But yeah, I
Yeah,
never really got into it.
1 and 2, I seem to get the impression that 1 and 2 is very glitchy.
Yeah.
And not a lot of people enjoyed it, and Saints Row 3 got rid of the glitches and put it even more over the top, and I think that's where everybody's enjoyment came from.
Yeah.
What style of game is it? Is it kind of like
It's Grand Theft Auto 4
Auto-
essentially, like a
Okay.
Grand Theft Auto style game, where it's sandbox style, do anything that you want, but it has like all of these ridiculous things like cars that have, when you drive them, they have spikes that pop out of the wheels so that if you drive by somebody, it'll shred their tires.
Oh.
You can get like a hovercraft jet airplane that fires missiles and have it at your private villa on the top floor of a skyscraper. Really
It
really
sounds-
strange things.
This
Oh,
sounds like
okay.
a game I would really be into.
Yeah, it's basically take Grand Theft Auto, like any sort of Grand Theft Auto, like 4, and just make it seem like it's just way over the top, way out there. That's essentially what Saints Row does. Is it takes the same sort of Grand Theft Auto experience and just makes it a lot more amusing to
Derpy?
do. Yeah, derpy.
Mm-hmm.
It would essentially be perfect for us to do a multiplayer thing.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Oh dear lord.
now we have.
I agree.
Now we
I
have.
agree.
Thank that.
Yeah.
Oh
You know,
man.
I don't know if you guys would ever want to do it, but I think it'd be awesome if we ever did a Left 4 Dead, do the survival on the Helms Deep custom map.
Ooh.
Oh, that would
I-
be fun.
Because you can mod Left 4 Dead to be able to accept more than 4 players.
Can
So
you?
we can, yeah, you can
not
have. I
in
think you can. They can mod it up to 16 players
Jeez.
to hold it. But obviously you need
I guess it-
server hosting. But
Well, I
that-
can host a server. That's not a big deal.
yeah,
Or Grave can if he wants to spare
Banjo's
a machine.
Banjo's Uber.
What? No. I have a little laptop that I run like Minecraft servers off of that runs pretty well. So,
There we go.
Oh yeah.
well, it's an old
Saints Row 4 slated to launch August 20th. Definitely going to be picking that up for on launch.
I'll probably look into it at least.
You definitely go check out like any of the videos that Rooster Teeth did for their
Oh
Saints Row 3.
God.
Oh
And,
god, these
like,
guys are hilarious.
Yeah, I
Jack
saw that.
and Gavin, like they were, what was some of them? They
Oh, yeah.
they picked up people and threw them off of a cliff to try to get them to land in a truck bed of a car passing down below.
So let me
Or
get this straight.
throwing people
This
off
game
of a
literally has no objectives at all
Well, it has a storyline that
Yeah.
you can follow.
that you don't have to follow.
No, it's just like Grand Theft Auto. It's a sandbox style game.
Oh, I love Grand Theft Auto.
You want that car? You go get it.
Yeah, exactly. It's very
I played
much
the
so.
heck out of freaking Grand Theft Auto. Oh my god, hundreds of hours.
I still
Yeah.
have. I've played probably 60 or so hours of Grand Theft Auto on my Xbox, and I don't think that I'm even halfway through the storyline. It's like there's
So
no
much
reason to play the
derpiness.
storyline. It's just derping around.
Yeah.
I used to always play the storyline enough that you could get everywhere, and then go do whatever.
You see, I just went right to the multiplayer in Grand Theft Auto 4.
Well,
Oh, they had multiplayer in 4?
Yep.
Yeah.
I haven't honestly touched a console game.
Oh, I don't play it console.
Oh well, yeah, but I haven't touched a console style game since what was the last one I played? I think it was Dragon Age.
Oh, Dragon Age.
So, which I played hundreds of hours of that, but I don't know. Started Minecraft in 2010, and it's pretty much been
Yeah,
It's just life now.
pretty much. All right, so let's move on. We're going to go into our EA bundle of topics here.
oh God, there's so many
Jesus.
EA topics.
the Great Satan.
The Great Satan. Origin, researchers say, is open to hacking.
Yeah, this is one of the ones I found. I found this kind of funny because of all the issues that they were having with their servers. That apparently there's actually a hack with the Origin store that they found, luckily, before somebody exploited it. But it basically would have made it so. Basically, the way the hack would have worked is it would have replaced your game files with a virus.
Oh, nice.
Pretty smart.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because like Steam is basically what it does is inside of your account it stores where on your computer the games are saved and how to get to that and everything. And apparently they found a way where you could just kind of replace what files where, and yeah, hey virus.
I'm trying to remember. Didn't EA just get a new CEO?
I don't know that they've replaced him, but yes, you are correct that the CEO did recently step down. I did see
Yeah.
that on GameSpot.
What's that because of SimCity?
No,
Yeah.
unrelated, I believe.
Well, I think he didn't like where the company was going, so he stepped down. And hopefully the new CEO that's going to be coming in soonish, right? Hopefully he'll be turning things around, be more customer service oriented.
Hopefully.
Best
Because,
of luck.
well, yeah. But actually, interestingly enough, a lot of the SimCity bugs, I got SimCity the other day, and a lot of the bugs people say there are, I have not had any troubles at all. It's loaded up fine every time. I've been able to resume my city. I've been able to load everything up perfectly. It's really a good game now.
Give it a day or
Much
two.
better than people were expecting.
I remember the older SimCities, loved them, but I just, again, it's a time. I mean, you know, working, parent, man, I just don't have time for another simulation game.
Mhm.
I have the only SimCity I've also played is 4, and that one was pretty good too.
Yeah, no, that one was
but this
kick-ass.
Yeah, this one though is really good. I like it. But anyway, let's
Here, I just found
Let's reread.
the resignation. It's effective. He still is the CEO. It's effective at the end of their fiscal year, which ends on March 30th. But I guess GameSpot somehow got a hold of the internal memo that the CEO sent to the chairman, essentially, of Electronics Art that is taking his place while they search for a new CEO. I hereby offer my resignation as CEO of Electronics Arts effective the end of the fiscal year of 2013 on March 30th, 2013. It is a tough decision, but it all comes down to accountability. The progress EA has made on transitioning to digital games and services is something I'm extremely proud of. However, it currently looks like we will come in at the low end of, or slightly below, the financial guidance we issued in January, and we have fallen short of the internal operating plan we set 1 year ago. EA's shareholders and employees expect better, and I am accountable for the miss.
Yeah.
So he's it basically sounds like he's falling on his sword. I mean,
yeah, he's taking the blame
blame
for all of. Yeah, which is actually a really good thing to do. Instead of blaming it on other people and saying I'm the big guy here, do what I say.
Because ultimately it is the CEO's job to direct the company and to make sure those sorts of goals are met. So I have to say that I applaud his personal reasons for leaving. I don't necessarily applaud EA.
No.
Well, you might be able to applaud EA soon.
No.
Maybe.
No.
Nah. No.
So yeah. More on EA. EA's is holding a Battlefield 4 event 1 week from today on Tuesday, March 26th. To announce information, probably releasing about the release date and everything about Battlefield 4.
This is another one of those topics where I'm thinking, why won't they just let the damn thing die?
I think it's interesting that it comes right on the heels of Battlefield 3's last DLC coming out, Endgame, which came out, I think, a week ago today. So it's kind of interesting that they have, like, 2 weeks after the last portion of Battlefield 3 comes out, that they're already talking about Battlefield 4.
I think they just made enough money. They're like, hey, people must still want another one.
Well, I think Battlefield's a fun game. I had loads of fun playing it on Xbox. When I transitioned over to PC, yeah, not so much.
Well, I'm not saying Battlefield is a bad game. I'm just saying that they do too much of it. It's kind of like Halo or Call of Duty. They just release a new one every year. It's kind
Halo
of
didn't have a
it's
once
repetitive.
A year.
Well, okay, you know what I mean.
I
More like
understand. Because how long ago was Battlefield Bad Company 2 prior to Battlefield 3? It was like a 3-year gap, wasn't it? Or thereabouts.
Yeah, I think so.
Something like that. Yeah.
And Battlefield 2 was almost a decade ago, I think. I want to say that was like 7 or 8 years ago.
Oh god, has it been that long?
Well,
between Battlefield 2 and
it's
Battlefield
just,
3.
It's just one of those games where I look at it and think, why do they continue making new ones? I understand people want to play it.
Because people are still paying money.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
that's what it comes down to.
Why are people still paying money? It's the same
they
thing
like
over and
the
over.
game, I
You're
guess.
paying.
Why do people keep playing Call of Duty? I mean,
That's a good question. But so
and one that we won't discuss on this podcast.
Anyway, you pay
MineSanity, a
$60
gaming
for Battlefield 4. Pay $60 for Battlefield 4. You then, the Battlefield 4 is exactly like Battlefield 3. The only thing that makes a difference is the $40 of DLC that you get if you pay $40 extra.
I think you're
It's a
jumping
ripoff.
to grand assumptions
Banjo?
about
You're
Battlefield
ranting again.
3 before.
I'll shut up.
Here we go.
Because, one, they haven't even announced any sort of information about Battlefield 4. They haven't even released screenshots or anything regarding the storyline. You know, you have to look at, okay, Battlefield Bad Company 2 versus Battlefield 3. There is similarities because it's the same, being produced by the same company. It has the same sort of playstyle, but they're two completely opposite games because they're accomplishing two different things. Bad Company was originally supposed to be a very humorous, light-sided, as far as the campaign goes, version of Battlefield, because it's taking, you know, the misfits of the military and throwing them into a conflict that they are utterly unprepared for, but somehow managed to triumph. I don't know. I didn't play any of Bad Company 2, so I don't know if that continued. I know it still focuses on the same set of characters. I don't know if the ragtag sort of thing kept on going with it. But Battlefield 3 is, you know, I would compare it to Modern Warfare 3, or the Modern Warfare series rather, in that it's very. This is what's going on currently. This is something that is relevant. The war in Iraq, the war in Afghanistan. That's what it's trying to play off of. It's trying to put something that is conceptually set in the real world. So Battlefield 4, I'd be interested to see what it's going to be about. Am I going to pay attention on March 26th? No. I might look it up. I might look it up just to put it on the podcast topic next week, just to bug Danjo.
Brilliant.
I second that.
Yeah.
But speaking of poor games and games that suck, SimCity. EA has revealed the free game compensation list for its poor SimCity launch, including games like Battlefield 3, Dead Space 3. A
lot of threes.
Yeah, well, they're all current games though. Battlefield 3, Bejeweled 3, okay, Dead Space 3, Mass Effect 3, Medal of Honor Warfighter, Needs for Speed Most Wanted, Plants vs. Zombies. Wow, that's a real value. And SimCity 4 Deluxe Edition. Here, you wanted to play SimCity, so we're gonna give you the last version of SimCity for free.
Yeah.
So wait. So people like me that just bought SimCity
Can go play
I'm gonna
SimCity
get all these
4.
games.
You're getting ripped off.
You get to pick from one of those games.
Actually,
Okay.
I don't think you will, because he got it after they fixed most of the stuff.
No, it says all copies of SimCity registered on an Origin before March 25th. So if you guys are listening to this podcast before March 25th and haven't bought SimCity and you're planning on it, go buy it now, because then you get a second game free because the game sucks. Okay? Great. If you were planning on getting Dead Space 3 or Mass Effect 3 or Medal of Honor Warfare or any of those other games,
Don't.
buy SimCity, because now you can get those for free.
Well, I'm about to get a free game.
Yeah, right? It's like I got $60 that I can spend. I mean, that's how much SimCity is, right? It's $60.
Yeah.
Yeah, pay $60, get 2 games. Sounds great.
Sweet.
Well, I'm getting the SimCity 4 Deluxe Edition because that was a great game.
And you don't have to be online to play it.
I am inclined, if I did this, to get Dead Space 3 or Mass Effect 3, but I haven't played either of the beginning of the first 2 in those series, so I don't know how well I would be just jumping into that series. So if I ended up doing, I think I might go for Medal of Honor Warfighter.
Yeah, same.
I'm gonna have to go against what you guys are saying about SimCity 5 sucking because it's actually a pretty good game. If you actually played it for 15 minutes.
No, I'm sure that Maxis
It's the company
created
that
an
sucks.
amazing game. Maxis created an amazing game. I'm sure of that.
EA
had a terrible time implementing it.
I will agree with that. EA sucks. Why did Maxis ever buy into EA? No one will ever know. Anyway,
And why does EA suck? Because they don't support their servers. You know who is going to support their servers? Bungie. Bungie has said that they are not going to have any of the server woes that plagued EA for the SimCity launch when they released Destiny. And Destiny
that was a
that was a
wonderful
masterful transition. I just went like plus 3 levels in my transition.
You're gonna get a reward for that.
Yeah.
transition level 99.
It's like a 20% buff to transitions for 30 seconds. But Bungie isn't worried about server woes when it releases its living server for Destiny. It says that it's used to having lots of players chomping at the bit to come to play its games, so it's going to have plenty of server space available so that they don't have to worry about these sorts of things.
Okay, I'm not helping EA here. I'm just saying that is a good point.
Here we
They
go.
have experience with it. EA has never done this massively multiplayer online thing. Just saying. They've never had tens of thousands of people buy a game and go into their servers.
Yeah, it's always third-party servers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, people.
So they don't know how to do it. So that is one fair argument towards EA.
Yeah, well.
But other than that, they suck.
We gotta
MineSanity,
stop
the
talking
unbiased
about.
gaming podcast.
Yeah. We gotta stop talking about EA. Banjo's
Yeah.
just gonna go on rants.
I know. Let's move on to Deep Silver. Explains the absence of Dead Island Riptide from the Wii U, just like every other game is explaining the absence of their title from the Wii U.
The Wii U
basi-
just seems to be
Just no
getting
one
shafted.
wants to see it burn.
yeah, Chris, go ahead. What were you saying?
Oh, I was gonna say it seems like the Wii U's just been getting shafted when it comes down to games. It's
Yep.
like
Yeah.
nobody wants to be part of it.
Well, I think the problem, and they talk about it in this article, is that the Wii U's engine varies so greatly from Xbox and PlayStation that
It's hard to develop.
in order to tweak it to work for the Wii U, they'd have to completely rebuild the game in a different engine, and they
Yeah.
simply don't have the resources for that. So, I mean, I completely understand why publishers don't want to do Wii U games unless it's specifically just for the Wii U.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, on the topic of specifically for the Wii U, a game, Rayman Origins, they were developing just for the Wii U, and they said, nope, it's not going to be for Xbox, not going to be for PlayStation, not going to be for anything but the Wii U. What do? They turn around and sell into PlayStation, Xbox, and everything else but Wii U. They were almost done with development on the Wii U, and then they turn around and say no.
I am
That's good
looking
business
at
practice.
I'm looking at the top of the article. I don't know when this update changed, but they added a little update thing that a Techland representative told GameSpot that Dead Island Riptide's engine would not need to be rewritten or adapted to run on the Wii U, and that the decision to not release the game to Wii U was not down to the engine's capabilities. Wii U compatibility was coded, created, and tested months ago back in 2012. There's no rewriting to make it work on Nintendo's latest console. So the bottom line is that there were no plans to create a Wii U version, but the decision had nothing to do with Chrome Engine's inability to run on that platform.
So in other words,
what we just said is bullshit.
We heard you and decided
the
to-
fact-checking podcast.
Yeah.
okay, but I'm saying that other game, Rayman Origins, was in fact they were shafted on it.
Yeah.
They got shown the hard end of the stick.
Well, I think you also have to look at, okay, what's the demographic that play? You could also look at it as demographics. What's the demographic that plays, the Wii console or the Wii U? Who's mostly buying it versus who's buying, the other consoles? And
That's
I bet
true.
it's a lot of families buying the Nintendo products and not like
Yeah.
the serious gamers.
Yeah, they're a family company.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and I don't think that Dead Island would be exactly fitting into the Wii U family of games.
No, definitely
Yeah.
not.
Have any of you guys played Dead Island?
No.
Once
Yep.
or twice.
Okay, I played the whole thing through several times, and I absolutely love the game.
Yeah, same.
I have it 1,000 for 1,000 gamer score on my Xbox, and I had loads of fun doing it. I even have videos up on my YouTube channel that were guides and glitches and stuff that I had found in it that I used to benefit myself by making millions and millions of dollars by duplicating items.
Wasn't Dead Island like that really glitchy game?
It was. For PC, it was very glitchy. Console, it didn't have the same sort of problems. But I was told I saw videos of PC games, or PC versions of it, that people would be driving along and then all of a sudden the car would start floating up into the air and going backwards. and the characters would like slowly just fall out of the bottom of the car, but they wouldn't like fall to the ground. They would stay essentially where they were, but the car was still floating backwards, and so they'd just be sitting in midair.
Yeah.
So it was a very glitchy game for PC, and I think the company that originally developed it actually went out of business shortly after it was released. If I remember correctly, and then
Really?
Deep Silver picked it up and tried to essentially revived it with doing Dead Island Riptide. Because I remember that there's this big problem with that they had bought GameStop editions and had this promised DLC, and the DLC never got released. But it was a fantastic game. I loved it.
It's kind of Resident Evil-esque, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which
Um,
I was surprised when they put that on the Wii.
yeah. Yeah.
Just did not seem to fit, and I think that's exactly what you guys are saying here. Is that it's demographically, you're not going to have your players of this game on the Wii. So it's little kids and families, and we're having a house party. Let's all play Dance Dance Revolution. It's
yeah, I largely agree with that. I mean, my sister has a Wii because she's not a serious gamer. And I'll go over to her house and, occasionally we'll play Mario, the Super Mario Brothers adaptation for it, and we'll have a blast because it's Mario. We grew up playing the original Nintendo console, but meh, I don't consider it a serious gaming console.
no, not
Yeah,
at all.
you see teenagers nowadays say, "Yeah, Call of Duty," not "Yeah, Mario."
Yeah.
It's a difference.
Just a little
Very
bit sad, in
different.
my opinion, but
I don't see that. Yeah, I don't see the same sort of rage-inducing fights over Battlefield versus Call of Duty that I see, Mario Brothers versus Legend of Zelda.
Oh, I'm a bitch, Mario.
And then it's almost like Mac versus PC, and
Oh,
then
God.
you have what would be, let's see, like Kirby for Linux. Would essentially be what it is. It's PS3 and
I just have
Xbox,
to-
and then you have
Yeah.
Wii U, the little Linux sort of guy over there.
I have something to throw out there about the Mac and PC argument. People who have Windows are right. People who have Macs are wrong. Case closed. Anyway.
remember the thing you said about unbiased?
Yeah. Well, I think we're all five of us that are present. We're all running PC. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, if you're a gamer, you kind of have to be in the computer world just because it works so much easier.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Unless you're playing like Team Fortress 2. But I mean, you
Which
can play
is
Team
developed for
Fortress
both.
2 on the Oculus Rift, the new 3D console that they're going to be.
Now
That was
you're
a
trying
horrible
to
trans-
transitions.
Hey, you know what? It works because Team Fortress 2 can be played on the Mac, and Team Fortress 2 is going to be the first game for the Oculus Rift. It's been announced, Valve okayed it, that Team Fortress 2 is going to be the first game for Oculus Rift. The 3D.
I haven't actually looked into that thing yet.
I looked into it a little bit. It's essentially going to be a console that has the goggles to make it seem like you're inside of the game.
That's gonna be interesting.
And
That
originally,
might
I
give a lot
guess
of people migraines.
the original first release game was supposed to be one of the Doom or
Oh.
Oh boy.
I can't remember what it was. I think it's in the article somewhere. Now I have to go check. There was another game that was supposed to be the first game for Oculus Rift, and they had to back out because it wasn't going to be ready in time.
Doom 3.
Oh yeah, it was Doom.
Yeah,
oh
Doom
my
3.
god!
Doom 3 BFG edition. Was
Talk
supposed
about
to be the first
reviving
A dead series, yeah.
I remember the first one.
game. I remember the first one.
The first Doom, I played the first Doom. That was just, jeez.
Yeah,
Yeah, but you did that like after 15 years after it
that's
had
true.
been released.
that game scared the crap
That's
out of
true.
me. By the way, playing it with headphones on,
Oh,
the
yeah.
dynamic
Oh,
sound in
God.
it was awesome. And you're sitting there playing, and behind you hear a roar, and you're like, "What the heck?"
That was a truly great original game.
Oh, yeah.
That they have successfully built shittier and shittier.
Well, I mean, it really kicked off the first-person shooter thing.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I
definitely.
mean,
Yeah.
so-
It definitely laid a lot of foundation for what has come since. But not going to be Doom. It's going to be Team Fortress 2. So Banjo's
Which I am
excited.
fine with.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously.
Banjo, the Valve fan.
They're a good company, okay?
They are. They're a very good company. I think that Steam is probably one of the best things that they ever invented.
Yeah.
And the
Next to Netflix?
especially for EA, because then EA just copied it for Origin.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, actually, I got the Origin launcher reluctantly because I got SimCity. I hate that thing.
Yeah, I had to
It's
get
a
it for
slower,
for Battlefield.
clunkier. It's a slower, clunkier, stupider Steam, basically.
Yeah,
It's horrible.
How EA would do Steam, and just
Yeah.
like everything else, poorly.
Steam initially, I was really resistant with it because I had bought Skyrim, and you had to be connected, and that was a pain in the rump. But now you can go offline. But getting extra content, if you're a modder and you design the content, you could upload it there, and the hundreds of thousands, millions of people have access to it if they're playing the same game. And that is just a phenomenal way of getting people in touch with each other. So
Yeah, mods like Skyrim mods or Left 4 Dead mods or any mods are so easy to get through Steam because all you have to do is go to the workshop and then download them. It's a really cool way to share stuff like that.
Yeah, well, I mean, Steam even will take user-created content
and put it in the game. Yeah.
And, well, not only put it to the game, but port it to consoles.
Yeah.
Because, like I was saying, the Left 4 Dead, the Helms Deep map actually got, if I remember correctly, they ported it over to Xbox.
Oh, really? That's really cool.
Play the Helms Deep survival map. I think they ported it over and made it a official release sort of map.
Wow, that's impressive.
That's really cool.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you should see the map. It's freaking impressive.
I'm gonna go look it up.
Well, yeah, anything that's made not by a company.
I'll toss the Left 4 Dead. What did I just say? Helms Deep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a YouTube video of some people playing it, so I'll toss that into the link dump. I'm not going to try to find the map download. Well, I mean, if anybody wants to try to find it, is literally Left 4 Dead Helms Deep, and you can just put it into Google.
Yeah.
I saw those keep calm and shirts that are starting to circle a lot. I saw somebody the other day that had one that said keep calm and Google it.
Yep.
There's that. Oh yeah. Ooh. Google is ruining our memory. Keep calm.
I don't know.
The keep calm thing. What is that? Where did that originate? Now that's gonna have that has to be a topic of discussion.
I don't know. Google it.
Keep calm and carry on is the original thing. It's a British slogan, propaganda slogan.
Oh God.
From 1939, during the beginning of the Second World War, is intended to raise the morale of the British public in the aftermath of widely predicted mass air attacks on major cities.
And now it's been ported to the gaming industry.
The poster was rediscovered in 2000 and has been reissued by a number of private companies and used as a decorative theme in a range of products.
Okay.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. It's
anyway
becoming more and more popular. Oh look, somebody put in the link dump the map. Oh, and even the GameSpot article related to it. Wow. That was from Steve. Thanks.
No problem.
Oh, and Brandon did this one. Oh, good job, Brandon.
Oi.
Trying to steal Steve's thunder.
What? No, the map I actually have right now.
Okay.
Anyway, let's back on track here.
Try.
So we're gonna jump off of our gaming run and EA bashing. Hopefully off the EA bashing. And moving on to smart guns? ?
Yeah.
This is one that Grave tossed on there. So take it away.
A quick explanation. Basically, what the article said is basically since for
Sandy
like
Hook.
20 years. Well, yeah,
Well,
that's one of the big things that has sparked people looking into this again. But it's been for quite a while. People have been looking into ways for making a gun only fire for its owner or stuff like that. Well, apparently they've come up with quite a few systems that you can actually use that way now. Most of them rely on having a identification chip, like in a watch, or if you want to really go to the extreme, an RFID planted in your skin. But
yeah,
I,
I've read the article all the way through, and it's a very long article and very detailed about it.
yeah,
But like Grave was saying, it's basically taking firearms and implementing the same sort of mechanics that they use in some
Like
in some
security
luxury
key card.
cars right now, where
Yeah.
you don't have to have the key in the ignition; you just have to have it in your pocket,
Mhm.
or you have
You
like
just
a
push the button.
wristwatch that has it, and you just can push the start button. It senses the RFID in your watch or your whatever, and it just, okay, this is my owner. I can activate now.
Yeah.
And they're doing the
Yeah.
same sort of things for handguns. One of them is actually the grip on the pistol is pressure sensitive.
Yeah, that
So
one I was
to
really
detect,
interested in.
yeah, that one I thought was really interesting. It is pressure sensitive to an individual's grip, how you normally hold the pistol when in your firing stance. It can detect minor changes in your firing stance and how you're holding the pistol to determine if it's the correct shooter.
Mhm.
Now, you
Um,
see, I would see there would be issues with that specifically because if you're in a scenario where you really need your gun, you're not going to be holding the pistol the same way
yes.
Yeah.
unless you're extremely trained.
Yeah.
You're panicking. I
Well, I
mean,
mean,
so
even police, if they're doing like cover fire or some, just trying to return fire for suppression, you're not sticking out your head up and doing your one palm in the other while you're holding the pistol to do your normal fire. You're like crouched behind some hard surface and just shooting over.
yeah, I mean, the Rift tag I think is an awesome idea.
Mhm.
I think that's where you're gonna stop the scenarios where little Billy finds Daddy's gun and
Yeah.
Accidentally shoots himself.
yeah, or
Yeah.
his friend or his
Or,
sibling or whatever. I think that's a good idea, but I mean, we don't. People need to be educated about guns, and I think that's the biggest issue we have.
yes.
Mhm.
I mean, and if there's good gun education that people taught, my wife was raised in Alaska, and she has been around guns her entire life. My father-in-law has a small arsenal. Um, he's a collector. I mean, he's a collector. So,
Yeah.
but he from the word go, his kids knew you don't touch unless we tell you it's okay and we're in the room with you. I mean, he could take a rifle and put it on the table, and his kids would walk a 10-foot circle around it and never touch it.
Yeah, I was raised the same way. My dad wasn't a collector or anything, but he was a hunter. He was raised with firearms in the household because he lived up in the mountains of the Sierra Nevada mountains, and so his dad hunted, so he hunted, so he was taught to respect firearms. I unfortunately never had the opportunity to go hunting with them due to some poor circumstances with my brother. We just never were able to go out and go hunting again. He didn't get shot, just for clarification. Anybody that was going to jump to that conclusion, no, he didn't get shot. He was in a head-on accident. So that kind of changed our outlook on things. But we never got to go hunting. But as a child, I knew exactly where my dad's guns were. I knew where the ammunition was, and I knew that if I ever touched them, I get whooped so hard that I never want to sit again. I mean, that's
Nicely
essentially
put.
what it is. I mean, you can probably guess my dad's political leanings just from that statement, but that's how I was raised. I knew exactly everything that I needed to. That in the event that something serious happened, that I needed to go get it for my dad, because obviously I wasn't going to be shooting it. I could run and grab it. He'd say, go grab my rifle. I'll know exactly where it is. I mean, to this day, I still know where all of them are, and he's moved them since then. Because I know he has 2 hunting rifles and a shotgun all in the house, and I know where they are, and I know where the ammunition is, but I'm not going to touch them unless he says that I can, even today, and I'm 27 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, sorry, go on.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Banjo.
Well, like, even now, I'm the youngest one here, and when a few years, like 7 years ago, 8 years ago, when I was in elementary school, even they're teaching kids now don't mess with guns. It's not a good thing. You can shoot yourself and kill yourself. I think that gun education is becoming more and more of a big topic.
I think
or a
it
bigger.
I think it definitely needs to, because I mean, there's even in the state of California, like I talked about last week, the handgun safety certificate that you have to get in order to purchase a handgun. It has entire section dedicated to child safety with firearms, and one of the biggest thing that they teach is that your child needs to know the 4 steps of when they encounter a gun of any type. You stop, you walk away, or you don't touch, rather. You walk away, and you tell an adult. You don't touch it, you don't do anything with it, you stop whatever it is you're doing when you encounter it, you do not touch it, you walk away, and you tell an adult where it is and what you saw. And I think that's something that they need to emphasize to all children, regardless of whether or not they will have any sort of interaction. But I mean, if you're going to get people that, their kids are going to say, oh, we learned about guns coming home, and they're all excited because they think they're doing something right because their teacher told them about it. And then the parents are going to flip out because they think that, the teacher's telling them all about guns and how they shoot and how they work and everything, and then it just goes cascading down to the shitstorm, essentially.
I definitely think gun safety needs to be taught by parents. I think it's definitely something parents need to be involved with, not schools. I mean, it's great that they're learning it in schools, but I think it really comes down to, I think a lot of these scenarios, if parents were more involved with what was going on, could have been, prevented. Yeah.
But I think we all can, safely say that the age of common sense is no longer here.
No, not at all.
What was the comment you made, Chris, before we started the podcast?
Oh, we have enough youth. How about a fountain of smart?
Yeah.
Yeah. Common sense has gone completely out the window in a lot of respects, I think, in general, with society. But that's a whole nother topic that we don't need to be involved in.
Well, there's one thing that people always said, intelligence is what you remember after your school is done. I think that was something, I'm paraphrasing something that Einstein said. And I definitely think that common sense is something that is an acquired thing, because I still consider myself to be learning all the time. I make mistakes and I learn from them. But I think that parents, since they have kids, they should have some amount of common sense by that point and be able to impart that wisdom upon kids. Not necessarily that the kids will listen, because I'll be the first to say I didn't listen to everything that my parents told me. You have to learn it for yourself sometimes if you want to be stupid.
And unfortunately, shooting yourself in the foot is not a good way to learn that.
No, unfortunately, because you'll learn handgun safety from that. I don't want to ever have to shoot myself in the foot again. But I mean, the whole premise of the handgun safety certificate is all common sense things, and it's like I'm confused as to how people can pass that. I'm also confused as to, like I had said last week, you can miss up to 7 of 30 questions. You have to score better than 75% in order to pass. I think that should be a very small or much smaller threshold. I think you should only be able to get maybe 2 or 3 wrong.
I don't think you should miss any of them.
I think I would probably advocate for that as well, but I do have a friend that was at my work that is a very conscientious owner of his firearms. He has quite a few now, but I had told him that I had scored, my 30 out of 30 for my certificate, and he said that he had gotten 29. And I don't necessarily think that that's anything that he is not a safe person. I think it is sometimes those tests can have questions that are phrased in a way that you might not quite understand it fully.
Yeah.
The certificate. I mean, in like you said, it was all common sense stuff. I think that certificate thing it's a feel good thing for the politicians and the police.
It definitely is.
It's a checkbox to go. Look, this person passed the test. We can give them a gun. You know,
well, it's California. You're looking at a predominantly Democratic state that is largely against firearms. I mean, we're one of the states that has the 10-round limit on firearms. My Springfield XD normally comes with, I think, like a 17-round magazine, and I have to have 10-round magazines come with mine. Anything else is considered high capacity, also from California is Senator Dianne Feinstein, the dinosaur of the past 3 centuries, which if you look at her, you'll know. She is completely against firearms in all capacities, regardless of what type they are. Representing us, 50% of the state, she's one of 2 senators. California's fucked when it comes to
but she didn't take away her right to carry a gun.
No. Of course not.
No.
Well, it's just like in California, if you want, like you were talking about earlier, concealed carry. Before the podcast, concealed carry is essentially a right in the state of Alaska, whereas in California, you have to quite literally know the chief of police or know the county sheriff for them to be, say, okay, well, I guess you can have a concealed carry permit. Because, those are handed out, fewer than pardons in state prisons. I mean, honestly, the only people that essentially get CCW permits are police officers or family members of police officers.
Yeah, federal folks, yeah.
Yeah. Don't get me started.
Okay, about that. But... About the 10-round limit.
Yes.
I'm sorry, but 10 bullets, I'm fairly certain, is enough to kill someone. Why is there a 10-round limit if it doesn't matter either way?
You would be surprised at in a scenario like that, how quickly you cannot hit something. A quick story, like I said, I live in bear country. I travel a lot around the state, and I go to locations that have lots of bears. And there was a gentleman who was out at a cabin fishing. One night he heard something. He went to go out on the porch, open the door, brown bear. He was carrying a .45. Pulled, started shooting. Fired the entire clip. Bear ran off. He went looking for blood trail so he could track the bear down and put it down if it was wounded. He couldn't find one. So from almost point-blank range, he shot an entire clip at this very large animal. And as far as he could tell, missed every time. Because of panic.
My brain keeps screaming, magazine, not clip, magazine.
Oh, yeah. Military, sorry.
Whatever you want to say.
I would think military would say magazine.
I've never shot a handgun, so I don't really know, but I'm just saying that 10 rounds should be enough to hit someone. No. But again, I'm not entirely educated on the subject, so...
I will point out that the handgun that I currently have, which is just a little .22 plinker that my dad let me borrow, I'll take shots from 25 yards, and I'll hit 9 out of 10, and that's taking my time, taking a breath with each shot, lining everything up, taking my time, and then taking the shot, and I'll get 9 out of 10.
Yeah,
And if you go into a high adrenaline situation, like Chris was saying with the bear, you're not taking your time with each shot. You're firing as fast as you can to eliminate the threat as quickly as possible. And 10 rounds cannot simply use that. I mean, I am in an urban environment currently, so my greatest defense against is going to be somebody that's going to break into my home. And I don't think that I'm going to be taking my time on each shot should somebody break into my home.
And realistically, most gun battles, for lack of a better term, probably take place within not 25 yards. It's probably closer to 45
yards.
feet. Yeah, I mean 45 feet maximum, or
Yeah.
or 20 feet, the length of a hallway.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But we're getting off topic, very off topic from the smart gun technology. But in the wake of events like Sandy Hook, developers are starting to look towards safer firearms to prevent accidental shootings. But it also raises the problem that a lot of the mass shootings that have occurred in the past dozen years or so have been by firearms owners with their firearms. So I don't know exactly how this will be prevented. I will say, though, that the limiting magazine size would, in this case, help, because then they have to change magazines every so often. But then you don't have people that are authorized to have concealed carries or open carry to be able to defend themselves from these people.
Yeah.
So the time that it takes for them to change magazines is very minimal. And in that amount of time, what can you really do to defend yourself if you are not yourself armed?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
a lot of
Other
problems.
than run and hide. I mean,
and that only gets you so far for so long.
right.
So smart guns, great idea in concept, but in actuality, who knows how much they'll actually save. Accidental shootings do not occur a great deal in the U.S. It's somewhere less than, I want to say, less than 1,000 deaths a year.
Something
Which is
like
less than
that,
1%.
Murder rate murder rate in some cities is almost as high as that.
Yeah.
Depending on where you are, like New York City or Los Angeles.
Yeah, Philadelphia, stuff like that.
Philadelphia.
Well, should we move on to another gun topic?
Yeah, the we hit this about 2 weeks ago, the 3D printers.
We kind of went over it.
We touched on it, but I don't think we mentioned it during the podcast about the 3D semi-automatic rifle that was built.
No, not whenever we did our big discussion on it. No, I don't think so.
Yeah, so somebody built using a 3D printer, built a functional semi-automatic rifle, and they just announced recently that he is now a federal firearms license dealer, so that he can actually produce these items for sale. Which he said is not the company's intention. They're doing it strictly to see if it can be done and can be done efficiently, possibly as essentially to create a disposable weapon.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, that's exactly what we need. Yeah, weapons that can't be traced.
Well, but I mean, well, that I think that's partially why the owner got the federal firearms license certificate, is to establish some sort of legitimacy to what they're doing. But I don't think that are planning for it for sale, but it would make sense if they did, because then that will offset the cost of doing the research in the first place.
Yeah. I know I'm the one who brought up the whole 3D printing thing, but it's just printing a gun, it's not a good idea because of the fact that it cannot be traced easily, at least. I mean, if you were to get real technical with it, I'm sure there is a way, but...
Okay, this is what my mind is screaming here.
Uh-oh.
They would give the people the blueprint to print out themselves.
Yeah.
Genius.
I'm going to jump in.
You can give that blueprint to anyone else.
I'm going to jump in here and say that there is a process more than just the printing of assembling and processing the item so that it can be fired. And even then, it does have a very short expectancy of survivability for the firearm. I think they said one of the best unit that they have had so far fired 327 rounds before breaking down. Because you have to not only you have to put out the parts individually, you have to assemble it, they have to be kilned, they have to be reassembled, and there's a lengthy process for this to happen, and not
Yeah.
the average person would be able to just say, okay, print this firearm and it pops out of a machine. It's not going to be that simple.
I understand.
The
But
problem.
the thing is,
Go ahead, Banjo. I don't come in after you.
okay, it's called Google. You can look up how to assemble a firearm.
Exactly.
You can get the blueprint. You can print out the things, which printing stuff on a 3D printer is not difficult at all. You
Well, I
can.
mean, you have to get special material to be able to do that without
Oh,
exploding.
whatever.
your hand.
That stuff costs, $20 for a spool at a department store. Anyway,
Is it controlled?
What?
Not that I
The
know
Is
of.
spool
the
of-
material controlled? Because this is
no,
what
because
I
it's used
see.
for other products. It's used for
is-
other products.
You get a homegrown terrorist cell, or you get a terrorist cell that comes into the country. They spend the 10 grand to buy a 3D printer. They go out and buy it, and look, we need 300 guns for this mission. Boom.
Can I,
You don't
can I
even
point
need
out that
10.
you can Google how to make cyanide gas, you can Google how to make
Yeah.
thermite grenades, which can
Mhm.
be used against armored personnel carriers that are used in some major cities by police, as well as National Guard. You can learn how to do all sorts of destructive things on Google. So I don't think that saying okay, you can make a gun now by Googling the blueprints. I don't think that changes a whole lot of things in perspective with those others.
No, it doesn't. But the ability to, I guess it's one thing to create the bomb, because okay, so we got AMFO, we got all this other stuff, but this is just another way that we could potentially equip somebody, homegrown terrorist or not, or some wacko who wants to go into a school. Because now you have a gun that they didn't have to go through background check to get.
It's completely untraceable.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to add to that, I remember seeing somewhere that it might have been the same guy we were talking about a second ago, but somebody who had actually printed out a working 3D printed gun actually is making their design public.
That's the same article.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Um,
But yeah,
the-
it's leaving it up to the public. That way, anyone who wants it, it's right there. And that because they have tested it and shown that it works. I don't see that as good.
But things that are good, cars that run on air.
Yeah.
After topic.
Um,
Wow.
we need to
This
get
I don't really see I don't see this legitimate. It's 25 years in the making. It's still not.
Well, I can point out that in the article it says that the vehicle that they're talking about that can run on air only has a range of approximately 3 miles currently because of the size of the tank. They could increase the size of the tank and increase the range. So this would be something along the lines of the Zappy cars that they have running around now that are like a Mini Cooper cut into a quarter, essentially in size.
Jesus.
No, I am
Those
not.
things.
Well, okay, I'll say in half, the size of a Mini Cooper.
Those cars, I hate those cars.
Yeah, well,
Smart cars?
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
They
come
look-
to California because I can bet you we have 10 times as many as they do. And
Do you know what we call them up here, or what I call them up here in Alaska? No, canned human. Just because of the fact that where I live, you know what, we get, the conditions can get just absolutely ridiculous, and 90% of the people up here drive. Okay, 70% of the people up here drive large trucks.
trucks
Yeah.
and SUVs.
And I know they had their little commercial where they balanced a Suburban on top of the frame. Well, that's great. You set that gently down with a crane. You probably had blocks underneath it, then you pulled them out for the commercial. I'm sorry. If you're on the highway and you're in one of those little cars and you get hit by a Suburban, you're done.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the Suburban's going to
that's
keep
the
on
problem.
driving.
Yeah, it's
Cool,
not
like,
going to
oh,
have
guys,
any effect
I
at
hit
all.
some.
Or you hit a moose. We have moose, a 1,200-pound animal that take out Mack trucks.
Yes. And they walk away.
Well, these
Something bumping.
these cars can probably just go right under the moose.
Well,
Not quite. But then you have the problem of the moose you've taken out the moose's legs, and the moose is now landing on your hood or your roof. MythBusters did a thing
Which,
on that.
by the way, is aluminum. It's aluminum, so it's just going to crumple like a can.
Aluminum or plastic.
Yeah.
Or plastic.
Yeah.
Either one.
You need to be nice and squished.
Doesn't really matter. You're dead either way. Anyway, moving on.
The point of the article is that this technology has been around. It has been, it is known. What they're using is essentially a compact steam engine. They're using liquid air, which is cool air down to negative 300 degrees Fahrenheit. It turns to a liquid form. And they essentially just put it into a barrel. It puts it into a steam engine. The steam creates pressure, which causes the car to move, and you have locomotion. So it's an interesting idea. It's a great alternative because air is everywhere. You can use, I don't know how much energy it will consume in order to get it down to that freezing temperature, but it's an interesting concept.
Think of how much your freezer uses, and then multiply that by 20.
But, I mean, they also talk in the article about this is all happening in London, by the way, the UK, England. The gentleman is from London that they're talking about in the article. But they had a power center that also uses liquid air in order to store energy. Instead of using battery banks, which are expensive and use scarce resources, you take energy that is stored from overnight when people aren't using a great deal of electricity, but wind generators are still producing the same amount, and they use that energy to create cooled or liquid air, and then they have the liquid air to operate steam engines during peak times, so they can essentially store it for very little cost because the supplies to make the containers themselves are very cheap and very light also.
As the Brits would say, that's bloody brilliant.
Brilliant!
Except until... Sorry, go on.
No, I'm just saying, I mean, realistically, when are we going to get off fossil fuels? It's way in the future, but I think we do need more research in these areas. To help, because we're the hell in a handbasket, is the way things are going. So, yeah.
All right, so I think that's going to wrap it up for us. We're actually a little bit over an hour for the podcast today. So I would like to thank Sigcore, Chris. Thank you very much for coming onto the podcast and being the first guest.
You're very welcome. I could probably show up next week too, if you don't mind.
Not at all. We'd love to have you.
So,
it's nice to have another opinion in here.
That's fun.
So this is the part where we do parting words. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed listening to us rant and rave and talk about other things.
Going off topic a million times.
Please subscribe if you haven't already. We do a podcast weekly. And that's about it. Check back here next week. Grave?
I'll give you one guess what I'm going to say.
You say it every week. Later.
Yep, later.
Banjo?
Surprisingly, I have
Stevie?
nothing to say.
Adios.
And Sig, any last words?
Auf Wiedersehen.
All right. Links in the description for all the topics that we covered, as well as all the
including
in the podcast, except for the Brazilian waxing STD risk thing. We're not going to include that one. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace!
Later.
Bye!